were we wrong about what the writers were trying to say about Mr. Big and Carrie? And stick with me a second because I'm not saying that they're an amazing couple and I'm not saying that they're not toxic because they are a terrible couple and they're absolutely toxic both together and individually. But here's the thing, I am doing a rewatch for the first time since I kind of opened my eyes to how many Mr. Bigs I've actually met in my life, which is a very high number, by the way. Um, I'm seeing a lot more clearly now that while, yes, we know that Mr. Big was terrible to Carrie with the big things. He was also absolutely terrible to her about the small things. We already know based on the bunch of breakdowns that are happening on YouTube and TikTok, that one of the things that he did was basically make it clear to her that he, wasn't into commitment and all these things and that she isn't it and all that. Those are still all true. But what I noticed is as clear as he was, both in the big things and the little things, specifically on the episode where he walks out of the room while she was reading the poem at that wedding. While he was making everything clear, Carrie is just taking it. So I'm wondering if, because there's an entire generation of women basically who were raised to believe the Mr. Big archetype is the Prince Charming. And because they do end up together at the end of the show, all the way into the movies, in the beginning of And Just Like That, like it becomes like Mr. Big type is the one you strive for, the Prince Charming. But he he was very clear that he's not great. And he was written to be clearly not great. So now I'm wondering if the writers were never trying to tell us that this is Prince Charming. What they were trying to tell us is this man, from the very beginning, an asshole. They knew and they wrote him to be what he is. And the only reason that we see him as such, meaning Prince Charming, is because Carrie was also written to be crazy over Mr. Big, right? Um, and I don't know, like that doesn't change anything as far as how their characters are built. I'm just saying that I don't think the point of the show was ever this is the one big love and it's true love and he's great. I think maybe the point of the show is that Carrie needed to wake up and unfortunately she just never did. The other possibility is they actually didn't want Mr. Big to be endgame and they just kind of had their hands tied at the end and needed to have Carrie end up with the one big love who she met at the pilot. What do you think? What do you think the writers of Sex and the City were trying to say with this character?